Hello everyone, my name is Fullhouse. As many of you probably know, I only recently started sim racing titles, or sort of like realistic driving, whatever you feel like calling them. I grew up playing games like Need for Speed Most Wanted and a little more recently Gran Turismo 6. When I started this channel, I decided I was going to take a closer look at the more realistic racing games. I used some money I got at Christmas to buy a T150 Pro racing wheel, which, if you don't know, that's a low-end force feedback steering wheel. And since then, I've been building up a collection of the, in my opinion, the most realistic racing games on PS4. It didn't take me long to narrow it down to 3 games: Gran Turismo Sport, Project Cars 2, and more recently, Assetto Corsa. Here's my personal opinion on how they all stack up. And keep in mind, this is just my opinion, yours may differ, and if so, feel free to tell me in the comments below. Now, let's start at the bottom and work our way up, shall we? In third place, I'm putting Project Cars 2. Now, why is this game in last? It has by far the best track selection of the 3 games, the biggest roster of cars, the most in-depth tuning, amazing force feedback, great track and weather customizability, and oh yeah, weather. That's something the other 2 games don't have. Well, it sounds great on paper, but in practice, it's a little different. The problem I have with this game is quality. I look for games that are well built, and every time I race in Project Cars 2, something seems to go wrong. I have multiple videos on my channel documenting this, and some of the problems simply make the game undrivable or unraceable. For instance, here's just a few of the things I've encountered in the last couple months or so playing this game. Cars glitching when going into the pits, cars glitching when going out of the pits, AI opponents on occasion not even being affected by the weather, race engineer that is virtually useless. The changes he makes are so small that they don't really change anything. Buggy graphics, the damage model that is literally hit or miss, poor opponent syncing in multiplayer, and so on and so forth. Those are just some of the problems I've found, and quite frankly, that's unacceptable in a racer of this level. So, because of that, I'm putting this in 3rd place. And don't say that's just because it's a console version. The PC has the same problems. So, 3rd place it is. And now we're on to 2nd place. Now, if Project Cars 2 is quantity over quality, Gran Turismo Sport is the complete opposite. And unfortunately, that's why it pains me to put this in spot number 2. It has some of the most gorgeous and detailed cars I've ever seen in a racing game. It has some of the best looking tracks I've ever seen in a racing game. It's very rewarding and very well built in terms of online racing. It has a nice user interface on both the track and in the menus. And as the game's been updating, a lot more cars have been adding into the game. And right now, it's got a very well-rounded car list. Unfortunately, the reason it's in 2nd place is that track list. While there are some gorgeous tracks, there's just not enough of them. There are so few tracks and some big glaring holes where there should be stuff like, well, I don't know, Silverstone? Would that be too much to ask? They had it in previous games, so why is it not here? Now, let's take a look at single player. Oh wait, there really isn't any. The campaign is so short that you could probably beat it in a day and be done with it. But the major thing that I don't like about this game is one that I discovered once I got my wheel. Its force feedback is almost like it's completely numb. I don't understand why. It really removes the driver from the action. I've messed around with the settings and I wasn't able to improve it much. I got a little better out of it, but in the end, I just can't get much feel through the steering. It just feels heavy, and unless you do something really stupid like run into curbs and stuff, you don't feel it through the wheel at all. Now, the reason, like, normally this wouldn't be a deal breaker, but I'm looking at racing simulators here. So that means I want it to simulate racing and to simulate driving as well. And simply put, you can feel stuff through the steering wheel of a car, unlike, say, in this game. It's a major disconnect between the driver and the racing, and that's why this is in spot number 2. And this leaves us with first place, Assetto Corsa. Now, on the face of it, this may not make sense either. It's got a very limited car selection even with the DLC. Its track selection is also quite small, although thankfully not at the same level as Gran Turismo Sport. And in terms of tuning, it's the weakest out of the 3. Well, here's the thing, Assetto Corsa has some of the best driving physics of any racing game I've ever played. At the end of the day, what a racing simulator is designed to offer is an authentic racing experience, and Assetto Corsa does better than both of those other games. The steering has all the force feedback you could ever want, just like Project Cars 2. However, the cars feel natural and balanced and weighted, like they do in GT Sport. You feel everything the car's doing, and if the car is about to misbehave, you can feel it about to misbehave. Both the car and the track list, although small, are very well rounded and have something for everyone. And simply because of that, Assetto Corsa, I think right now, is the best racing simulator I can find on the PlayStation 4. And I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Fullhouse, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!